Welcome to the Multifamily Zone, where business meets family. We explore what the entrepreneur life looks like from the family perspective. Now here are your hosts, Julia and Gino Barbaro.
Hey everyone, this is Julia Barbaro, one of the hosts of the Multifamily Zone podcast. I'm here with my co-host, my husband, and the co-founder of Jake and Gino, Gino Barbaro. Hey Gino. We've had a great morning, huh?
It's been a great day. We went to the beach today. We had to schedule somebody to watch the kids. We were talking with our guests. It must be so difficult for women just to pick up and leave what they're doing. But we squeaked out a half an hour, and now we've got an awesome podcast ahead. So, Julia, you want to introduce the guest?
Go ahead. I'll give it to you. I'm going to ask her some questions.
We've got Sonia Hatter. She's a co-founder of Thrive, Make Money Matter, and director of operations for the Hatter Group. Wow. Awesome. She loves to teach how she gets the attention of influencers that you can't reach. Well, welcome aboard, Sonia.
Welcome.
Happy to have you
so
here.
Happy to have you guys. Go ahead. You can ask the first one. Yeah, go ahead.
Tell us how you and your husband, Cole, just started the business, because I know it's a massive enterprise right now. I know it's touching millions of people. I went out and met him a couple of days ago, and I was touched by his story, and I love the whole idea with Thrive, Make Money Matter.
Yeah. So when we were in Rome on our honeymoon, he decided, I asked him, I said, hey, if money didn't matter, what would you like to do in life? And he said that I'd really like to have an event where I can teach people how to make money and then how to give back. I'm like, I don't even understand. And that's when he brought up Tom shoes. He's like, I love Tom shoes. I love when you buy a pair, they give a pair away. I have Diff Wear eye sunglasses. Every time you buy a pair, you're giving a pair of reading glasses away. And he really wanted to teach people this for-purpose model. And I said, okay, well then why don't we just go home and then why don't you do it? And obviously it's so difficult to start events and, and people only succeed with one or two. And he's like, I want this to be massive. And I was like, all right, let's see what happens. So we come home and he did it. He had 400 and some people come to his first event, and he just did a phenomenal job. He's a visionary. And the thing that was starting to happen at the end of it was 2 weeks before. I was like, babe, did you get name tags for people? He's like, name tags? He said, what about registration folders? Registration folders? And I'm like, did you realize that you need banners and details and volunteers and this? And he's like, no, I got speakers. I got the venue. I'm supposed to do more. And so that's where I kind of came into play. And then the following year we were doing it and it was growing. And so people couldn't get a hold of him. His texts were just full, his emails, and he was just so overwhelmed. So he's like, can you see if you can answer any of these people on my email? So I started doing that. And then on Facebook, people were messaging me because Cole wasn't answering. So I would have this yellow notepad that he still hates to this day. And I would write all the questions down, and he'd come home from a speaking event and he's literally in the shower. And I would just go through and knock out each question. He'd be going to the bathroom and I'm like, babe, I need these answered. And everything was getting answered. And I kind of just became the role of running the operation.
So Sonia, when you started that, what were some limiting beliefs around Make Money Matter? Because obviously when you're not there, it's really difficult because you're going with the go-giver model of you want to give to get. So what were some of those limiting beliefs when he told you that? You must have thought he was crazy.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's Cole. So I thought he was definitely crazy. But that's what I also love about him is he takes something that he's passionate about, and it's a vision that he wanted. And so as a supportive wife, I wanted to help him execute that. And there's so many ideas that he has that are crazy. And I'll try and be like, okay, let's sit down and logically look at all of this. Can we really make this happen? I'm kind of his voice of reason. And he was like, I have to do this. So if he had to, he's the captain, I'm the first mate, and we made it happen. I'm not a visionary, so I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to see the greater picture and do the experience, but I know that I could handle all the details.
Yeah. I'm really curious how you balance working together and also being married. And I know you have 2 daughters, so having a family life. So how do you balance all of that?
I've realized that there is no balance whatsoever. I've learned to sacrifice on different things. Like when my girlfriends are, hey, we want to go have a drink. Why can't you come? And it's like, because I didn't have enough time with my husband and my kids today, so I won't do that. Or, I haven't done my hair I still have a bunch of gray hair because I skipped my appointment because I wanted to do something else. So there's been a lot of sacrifice, but I've also just made my heart happy saying no to things.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to how you guys have to audit your business, and so do we. You have to see if there's an ROI on this. How's the staff doing? What do your numbers look like? So Cole and I will sit down every week and we audit our business, but then we also audit our relationship.
Yes.
So he'll tell me.
Give me an idea. I would love to hear ideas.
His love language is quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, when we do audits for him and what makes his heart happy is, I'd like to go to the movies. I need a date day right now. Let's drop everything and go. And of course that doesn't work for me because I plan everything out. I'm a mom. I have everything. Every minute of my day is planned out. But if I see what he needs, that's my priority. So I'll be like, all right, let me move things around. Let me figure it out. And it's helped knowing his love languages so that I can audit it that way. And he knows mine's acts of service. So he knows when I ask him to do something, if he goes to pick up the girls from school or takes them here or throws out my trash, that means the world to me. So being able to audit every week and say, I need this. And, because we are so busy this week, next week, I need you to do this for me, A, B, and C. And that's helped us. And something really big that was a tool that we learned in premarital counseling. So that was so helpful. And also, he taught us about urgent and important. I'm always thinking like everything is so urgent. I need to get this done. I need to answer this email. I need to do this. And people are coming to our house for a party and I have to get everything all ready and I can't hang out. I have to do laundry because I haven't done it. And Cole will tell me, babe, what is important right now? Is it important to be with your family right now and people are here? I know the laundry is urgent. I know that those emails are urgent, but what's important is spending quality time with family and friends. And I'll be like, okay, you're right. Urgent versus important.
Right.
I'll stop and I'll focus. Yeah.
So it's funny you talk about the love language. I just heard about this a few weeks ago with my wife. She said, your love language is intimacy and touching. And she said, my love language is gift giving. So everyone on the podcast, that's really huge. Know what your spouse is their love language, because you might be doing something thinking it's yours. Like me, with gift giving, I hate giving gifts. I just think we don't need anything, right? But that's what is attractive. So then you really have to step back and say, what does your significant other want? And it was really enlightening when she.
It was so funny to watch him read a book. Oh,
I was like,
it was
wow,
hysterical.
it was painful for me actually,
It was painful.
right?
That's a need book for every relationship.
Yeah.
Cole and I, we were saved from that book. It's like Gary Chapman and teaching how, some people need the words of affirmation. They need to hear constantly, like, I'm beautiful, I love you, and you're my everything.
Right.
And there's acts of service,
Well,
me.
so important. It's so important that you actually are noticing the other person, right? Instead of saying, this is what you like, what you need. Hold on a second. I never even asked you. That's just so important in a relationship.
And receiving gifts, like giving gifts, that's my favorite way to show somebody that I love them. And it's funny because people hear that and they're like, oh, you like receiving gifts? That's a terrible love language. And it's like a gift doesn't necessarily mean you need a $5,000 purse or really expensive shoes. It could be something so small where I received a skateboard that had a picture of a butterfly on it. It was resembling one of my friends that passed away. That is one of the most incredible gifts ever. Or when my daughter makes me a card, people don't understand. They have to understand the love languages, and they have it for actually children as well. Yeah. And you'll be able to know your spouse, know your employees, know your children better, and how to love them. My employee, she likes physical touch. That is really hard to do when it's an employee. And I turn out
especially nowadays.
It's like if I give her a hug when she's leaving, or if she does a really good job and I give her a high five or a pat on the back, she's like, I've done such a great job. And I never would have thought that that's the way that I could show appreciation to my employee is a fist pump. Like she's just like, I did good, when I think I need to say, fantastic job. No, she needs a high five.
Yeah, such good advice. That is so awesome. So you and Cole built Thrive together, and now I hear you're stepping out and you're going to be starting a ladies version. So tell us all about that.
So during Thrive, the very first one was majority men, and it's, entrepreneurs, and they're just coming to learn business. And Cole really wanted it to be spouses. He really values my opinion, and he was trying to demonstrate that on stage. And so more and more of the men were starting to bring their significant others, their spouses. And it's crazy that this is the 5th year. And I looked at it in the crowd and it wasn't 90% men. And some of them came the first year, the second year, and now I saw they brought their wife, and I just thought that was so fun. And all of them, when it was done, they asked me, Sonia, we want more. Like, there's all these men's groups and these masterminds, and I feel awkward going into that space of trying to learn business, being surrounded by all these men, and you need to do something. And I said, I don't like stepping out. I don't like being on stage. I don't like doing podcasts because all of it scares me. But Cole has been like, the more consistent I am with doing it, I'm not as scared. And so I've built this confidence up. It's taken some time. I'm still nowhere where I'd like to be, but I felt like I was doing a disservice to these women, these moms, these just entire ladies community that wanted more, and I wasn't giving it to them because I was scared. Right. So I decided, why not have a Thrive Ladies event? And I don't want to do it in a ballroom and just feel like everyone else. So I did it on a yacht. It's going to be
it's awesome. Yeah.
And it's going to be champagne and food and just, I meet so many wonderful speakers, so many women that can teach others, business and relationship skills. And I just want everyone to come to learn all that, to have an experience, and to just have memories and new friendships when they leave.
So what do you think about that? And I totally agree with you, especially in the multifamily space where we are. There are very few women in the space. But at our Jake and Gino event last year, I would say there was between 30 and 40% of the attendees were women. So how do you get more women to come to these events?
I think that when the man on stage, so you guys with Jake and Gino have done a phenomenal job by probably sharing your family and your wives on stage. So when men see that in the crowd, you're going to either have them come back because they're gonna be like, I relate to that. I want that type of life. I want to do things with my family. There are men out there that don't want anything. They don't even tell their wives about business. They probably won't return, but that's okay. And I just noticed that the more you share about your family and the more people see it in the public eye on social media, which is scary to do as well, you'll have women come. They'll feel safe. They'll feel comfortable. They'll see it, and then they want to support. And it's crazy because I'm sure, you help with so much of his stuff as well. And you also have 6 kids. It's like, women are incredible. Like, we're superhuman. But you will have more women.
I'm not going to disagree with that. There's no disagreement there.
Like your wife coming to share on your stage, Jake and Gino, I'm sure you'll have so many more women. The men will be texting, hey, I just saw like his wife on stage and I think you really like her and you can relate. And then it'll just happen organically.
Sure. So Sonia, I'm going to share 2 things with you. The first thing is, you're going to be on stage next year. So she's still out of her comfort zone. So thank you for that. So
we
now
share the same fear.
Now I have ammunition. And the second thing is, I am very similar to your husband, the fact that I agree with that vision. And I put out that I wanted to have a spouses roundtable at our next event. So I'm like, I commit and then I'll figure it out. And I told her, I asked her, what would you think? And she said, this is great. I sent out an email to the community without telling her, and I get all this overwhelming response. So I'm just getting verification that I did something right.
With a very similar relationship.
It was great. It was awesome
which is good because it does get us out. We're helping other people, helping other families, other marriages. And to me, that is so rewarding.
Yes.
And that's really what I want to do. But sitting in my house, I'm not going to be doing that.
Amen.
So going out and promoting marriage and family is
so you walk the
awesome.
walk and you talk the talk. I know what it is. I saw a video Cole showed me of your 6-year-old on stage sharing the email. So talk about that a little bit, because it's amazing to have your children involved in your business. And it's amazing that a 6-year-old can actually articulate what she did. I was really super impressed by that. So just talk about that a little, how you've incorporated that with your children. I'm sure all the people that are around you, they grow up in that. So they must have such confidence and they must be somewhat proud. And they must have you guys are role models. And that's what we want to be as parents. So how did that come about?
It's just, I have them engulfed in everything we do. So when right now she could probably run in and I'll have her say hi, she talks on our mastermind. I want her to know that she's the most important. And so that I constantly love her, but mommy does have to work and so does daddy. And so she'll appreciate work ethic. But what I've noticed is there's something that happened to me while growing up. I don't know what it is, but I didn't have any confidence. And up until I was 32, I don't know why I wanted to be behind the scenes completely. No one see me. Hey, let me run all this, but no one see me. I didn't want her to grow up like that.
Right.
So I decided I was going to start on this journey. I did a fitness competition. I did a beauty pageant. I've just been putting myself out there to be more consistent on getting out of my comfort zone. And she saw that. And she's like, Mommy, you're so brave. And I tell her every day, which I've started to do the past 2 years, is like I have manufactured a confidence that I never knew I had. And I've just reprogrammed my brain, and I've reframed everything that I think, that I am fearless. And it's so crazy what your mind can do, because 99.99% of your fear is based on memories. So I'm like, I'm literally not going to step out. I'm going to have my daughter see that Mommy's not confident because I'm scared. I was like, I can't do that. And so I tell both my daughters every single day, and so does Cole. It really helps, like the father figure, to just constantly be saying this. But we always say our prayers every night, and I say, you're extraordinary, you're fearless, you're a hatter, and you never give up. And there's something that's ingrained in her that she is just like, I am fearless. And we went out to some kid's place to go jumping, and there's this huge American Gladiator wall, like those ninja walls where you have to run up and just grab on and pull yourself up. And all these teenagers are running up it, and she's 6. And I was like, there's no way she's going to get up it. She kept running and sliding down, running and sliding. I could tell she was getting frustrated. I'm like, how am I going to tell my daughter that this is something that she can't do in a polite way without messing with her, because she's physically too short. So she's like, she stands up at the top and she's getting ready to go. And I'm like, okay, I just need to tell her, I can't watch her do this again. And she's like, I'm extraordinary, I'm fearless, I'm a hatter, I never give up. So loud. All these kids are watching now. It's like, oh, like making something like, oh no. So she's running up this wall, and then she latches on like a spider monkey on this fence. I didn't even see that fence. I just saw a wall, and I saw all the kids standing up there, and then they jump off into the ball pit. There is this fence, and she ran, latched onto the fence, went across it, and stood up at the top, and she's like standing up there like victorious, you know, like I did it. I told you I could do it. And I'm all, holy cow, like this girl is extraordinary and fearless, and I have just ingrained that into her, and I won't let anyone make her think otherwise.
So that's the important. There's the importance of that as far as having children come to these events also, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, for her to be constantly hearing us on podcasts and teaching, and she's like, Mommy, what's technician? What's an entrepreneur? What's a manager? And she's teaching the E-Myth, you know, she knows passive income. She's 6 years old. She's like, oh, that's mailbox money. You know, like she just teaches the cutest things from questions that she's asked because she's intrigued. And we just invite her into this space. And if she doesn't want to be in it, she doesn't have to be. I'll never force it on her.
That's so great.
That's awesome.
Great parenting.
I love that. Could you share with our listeners what you and your husband have learned working together?
I've learned that there's things that I am really good at and things that he's really good at. And there's no point in me, you know, trying to do certain things to help take away some of his load if I'm not good at it. I've just tripled down on my strengths, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do such a great job at it. And then he can do his things that he's great at. And if we both aren't good at something, I'll outsource it. Like I'm not going to sit there and spend 5 hours trying to learn how to put pixels and retargeting things on ads, because it's going to take me forever. And I could have done something that I'm really good at and have that done amazing, and then have the other stuff done correctly too, and then go play with my kids. Like I just try to figure out how Cole and I work well together. And there's people that really want to work with their spouses, and they cry to me and they're like, why can't I do it? How do you do it? And I'm like, we figured out boundaries. Like, where is it that you do this? Where is it that you do that? And then Cole wants us to like shut it off. Like I could talk about business from morning to bedtime, because I can always fix something and tweak it. And he's like, babe, we need to also be us. And if some like relationships can't work together, that's okay. Like don't be working for them, and then you're going to end up resenting that person because you're like, I don't want to be building your site and be doing all this, but you feel like you have to. You just tell the person like, hey, I'm not enjoying this. Can I do maybe something else in the business? Can I do the social media? Because I really like social media, and they're still helping.
Right. It sounds like you have a good foundation in marriage. And I feel like the people maybe that are trying to work with their spouse need to work on the marriage first. And I noticed that where if that's solid and you could see each other for who you are, your strengths, just like you said, weaknesses, and then from there, it's like, okay, now we can work together. Now we see each other. I know what you could do. I know what I could do. And I'm comfortable with that. Now we could work.
So what are some of the struggles that you see couples working? Because I know with Julie and I, when we first started doing this, the podcast and everything, sometimes I'd snap at her, not because I meant to, but I just, so what struggles do you see, even in your relationship with your husband or people that come to you for mentorship? What do you see in the struggles that they working together?
That's the same exact problem that we have. You'll get a phone call and there's a fire that you have to put out. People aren't doing what they're doing. And then you get all tense and you're built up and you don't know what to do and you're freaking out. And then all of a sudden your spouse walks in and then you start freaking out and then something else falls through. And it's like, it's so easy to snap at your spouse because you know that you could figure it out and they'll forgive you. You're not going to go lose your mind on an employee even if you want to. It's like, it's just so easy to do. And so what I've learned, and I'm still terrible at, is when Cole and I do snap at each other because of something that the business is going through, to not take it personal. So when he says something like, for example, we're booking a flight for a speaker and I didn't do it, like I spent an extra $1,000 and he's like, cancel that. You're not booking flights anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh. In my mind, I go straight to, he thinks I'm dumb.
Yes.
And I'm like, I got my degree in school. I got 2 degrees. I got this. I got that. Like, oh my gosh, this is the best flight. I'm telling you, are you kidding me? Like, I freak out, take it personal. And then I was like, okay, stop. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Just see what he gets. All of a sudden he sends a flight and he saved $1,000. And I was like, all right, then I was wrong. I'm glad it didn't blow up like I would have. I'm glad that I didn't take this personal. You know, he really does know how to book flights better than me. So next time I'm just going to say, babe, please do this for me because I'm not good at it. Like I didn't find how he does his magic. So I've learned to try my best to not take things personal.
It's so important to work on our reaction to every situation all the time, especially working with a spouse, because it really can ruin things.
Can you talk about it? Because a lot of the students in the Jake and Gino community, they're working with their spouse or their spouse work in a separate venue, and their spouse is like, you always talk about real estate. How do you set those boundaries and say, okay, Cole, shut it off. I don't want to talk business today. How do you do that? How do you set those boundaries?
See, with Cole, I could talk about Thrive all day long. There's always something. There's always like, I need to. He's so good at being stop. We are not talking about this. And as soon as sometimes I'll don't even realize that I'm throwing it in there, and he'll be like, nope, you're about to ask me if I talk to this person to get to this answer for Thrive. And I'm like, okay. And you just have to respect if the other person doesn't want to talk about it and they want to have a fun night. You just have to communicate, because I don't even realize that I'm doing it. It's just like, it's just always on my mind. I don't even realize it. And I really think that if couples, when you are an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7. You can't just go home, clock in and clock out. So it is always on your mind. So if you just tell your spouse, like, hey, no phones for this hour, no talking about real estate, let's just go have fun. You know, the person will not acknowledge that, and then you go from there.
Exactly.
I like that. Because I could talk about real estate all day, and I don't. I'll talk about refinances.
I'm really good at zoning out.
Yeah, and she doesn't really care. You know what I'm saying? I'm really excited, and she's like, yeah, okay. We just went for a walk today. I was like, hey, I just did a refi. Cole was there the other day. She was like, okay, that's great. And it's just like, sometimes I want her to be excited, but I know that it's one of those things that it's not your cup of tea. So why don't you talk about your event? Let's talk about where the event is being held. Talk about how people get a hold of you. Talk about why you're doing it. I'm excited about the event. I saw it. It looks really awesome.
I am so excited about the event. Like I said, this is not something that I ever thought that I would do. I feel really uncomfortable putting myself in the situations where I have to be holding a microphone and be, a host of an event. But I've been doing podcasts for a while now, and I can just run up here now 5 minutes before, and I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? And right now we're having this podcast. As before, I would probably be crying in the morning and be freaking out and can't eat and I don't know what to do and I need cold right on my side.
So what was the big change in that? Because that's a really huge breakthrough, because I know you get your reps in and you get warmed up and all that. That's obvious, but there has to be a change. There has to be a paradigm shift in your mind to say that I can do it. Or what was that breakthrough for you?
What I've realized is that fear has literally stopped me from so many doors opening in my life, and my purpose being my daughters to not go through that same thing. I want them to just see it's all comes down to purpose. Like my friend that passed away, I told her that I'm going to live my life more boldly and more confident because she did that. And when you have this promise to somebody and you have to follow through on it. And I've noticed that just by me doing a fitness competition, there's moms out there that now have lost 90 pounds because they just saw someone like me, a regular mom working, can do it. So now they're doing it. And I have another girl that wants to call right now from our mastermind. She's like, you just motivated me to do it. So when I see these messages coming in, I never thought that anyone would look to me as a mentor. And I really didn't even want that responsibility. I don't want to be on that platform because it's scary. But I'm seeing people lose weight. I'm seeing people that are going and doing beauty pageants, not for the superficial part, but just being able to do the interview and just feeling more confident and beautiful. And me speaking on stage, there's people that have started podcasts. There's people, I tried modeling because I was so terrified. I can't really smile and look sexy. I look like I'm constipated when I'm trying to look sexy. I was like, I can't do this, but I just keep saying yes. And more people are seeing me say yes. And now they're saying yes. And I'm trying to
making a difference.
Yeah, I just check off things off my bucket list and people want to do it too. And I'm like, why do you care if I do it? And people are just saying, because you're relatable. And so I just keep doing that. And now Thrive Ladies event has just happened over time. And I just feel now's the time. I'm still so scared, but I'm more excited to see the outcome and prove to myself and show my girls and show Claire that I'm doing things I never thought imaginable.
How can people get a hold of you as far as email, as far as the event? Do you have any of those links you want to share with us?
Yeah, so my Instagram's Sonia Hatter, and so it looks like Sanja. It's Sanja, and then Hatter, Hatter. When I don't spell it, people can't find me. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So it looks like Sanja Hater for all of you out there, but it's Sonia Hatter. And then also for the ladies event, it's 7/7, and if they just type in thriveladies.com, then they can get all the info.
That's awesome. I just want to recap this real quick from my perspective, and I'll take my wife's perspective because we have two different perspectives. For me, the action steps for everyone on the podcast is, you know what? We all have fears. And if Sonia had all those fears and overcame those fears, and now they're doing a 1,600 person event they just did, and they've got some amazing speakers, and she's going out and she's done beauty pageants and she's going out and creating this amazing event. If she can do it, anybody on the podcast can do it. But I think what most people need is clarity. She knows why she's doing it. I mean, I think we'll do more for others than we will for ourselves. So you're doing more for your children than for yourself, but that leads you to do what you do. So you have that clarity. So everybody out there, when you're doing something, whether you're investing in real estate, whether you're going out to do a speaking engagement or whatever it is, have clarity on why you're doing it. And then you'll figure out how to do it. That was my big first takeaway. The second one is to commit and then figure it out. I have Josh, and this is for you, Josh, if you're listening. Every time he does something, he's so afraid. He's making an email, and I hit the send button, and he's freaking out. I said, don't worry about it. Send the email, launch the thing, and then whatever happens, happens. And it's just like, as you get older, you get more confident. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't make any sales, you make a mistake, but then you learn that way. And I think it gives you the confidence to take action, right? Because education times action equals results. You need that action with the education to make those results.
People don't execute. They have to.
And I think the other thing is we need more women in the real estate space and in the entrepreneurial space. So this is a great way to get connected. And what I've learned also, another action step is your net worth is equal to your network. I never knew what that meant. And a lot of people say that, and it's a catchphrase, but I've lived it the last 3 years, and it means so much to surround yourself with amazing people. So mastermind, get on the yacht. You need to get in front of people who you want to, because that environment is so important. Because when you surround yourself with like-minded people and people who take action and people who are successful, you're going to become successful.
Yeah, Gino, you summed it up so well. And I'm so impressed by you because, that fear that you overcame, it's so hard. But to say yes to everything is the way to do it. You know, we're very much alike. The more you talk, it makes me laugh. My husband is like, all right, let's do this. We'll figure it out later. And I kind of am the one figuring it out. So I completely get where you're coming from.
I'm not that bad.
No,
Come on.
it's all good. If it's good, if we're going to help people, I'm all in. But
I love that.
Speak in front of people is terrifying. And I realize that more people that I thought were afraid of it, and they're afraid to speak, you know, whether it's for whatever reason, you know, but to actually just say, yes, I'm going to do it and be there and show up. That's all it takes.
And
I can't wait to see you speak now.
Oh, gosh.
You have to.
We're doing a marriage roundtable, and hopefully it's small.
And one more thing that I think is really important. I think what you said towards the beginning was to say no to a lot of things. That ROI, because the book on boundaries that I wrote,
important.
If you don't say no, and there's so many good ways of saying no. Michael Hyatt talks about in his book, Free to Focus. You can say no, but I can help you out in this way, because you can't say yes to everything. Because when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. That's the problem that people have to realize. And you two are so very busy. So if you say yes to everything, you're taking away from time with your husband, or time with your children, or time with a business associate, or time for you not to be able to create your amazing Thrive event. So everybody on the call, remember that there's always okay to say no. And that's why I'm down here in Florida, because I said no to my family because I needed that separation. So saying no is okay. So, I mean, any final words? Can you wrap it up and bring this home for us?
I'm just excited for when you guys are able to schedule another 30-minute walk that it won't be about refinance. You guys are
actually going to be sneaking out to the beach. I'm just going to be honest.
Yes.
It's beautiful out, and we're not going to even let them know the podcast is over.
Yes, I love that. Go do that, and then figure out, you know, like, don't talk about business. Talk about something fun that you guys are going to do, and then how you're going to be speaking and what you're going to share, and how you guys, like, you are going to help all the women at your event when you speak about real estate, because it is really scary. I feel like it's a man's world. And if you can teach women the confidence of when they're calling and they're trying to negotiate deals, that they are badass, like they can do it. And it's like, I have to constantly tell myself that I am, and I can do this. And I think that you are going to be such a light, and you are going to make these women confident as you're growing your confidence. You don't have to be on a 0 to 10 scale of confidence. Like I'm a 2.
It's important for them to see that you're real, that you're real. Absolutely.
So I can't wait to see what you do.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. I just want to thank you for taking the time out today to share your story. And, you know, congratulations and good luck with your event. It's going to be awesome. Any parting words?
No, it's been it's a great pleasure to have you on. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Everybody out there, click on those links down below. You need to go to the mastermind, especially if you're a woman. Please get connected with Sonia. I mean, she's making it happen. That's why she's part of the Jake and Gino community. She's got an amazing event that she's worked with her husband, Thrive. So please connect, everybody. Thanks. We'll see you soon.